My brother stole my girlfriend. I destroyed him at a family dinner. Now he wants back into my life. I never thought my life would turn into one of those dramatic Reddit posts. You know, the kind where people spill their darkest secrets and everyone in the comments debates whether they're the hero or the villain. But here I am typing this out because I need to get it off my chest. It all started with my brother, Jake. Growing up, we were inseparable. He was the cool older brother, the one who taught me how to ride a bike, how to talk to girls, how to stand up for myself. But somewhere along the way, things changed. He became distant, secretive, and then he betrayed me in a way I never thought possible. Jake had always been the golden child, charming, ambitious, the one everyone gravitated toward. I never resented him for it, at least not until he started using that charm in all the wrong ways. It started with small things, a lie here, an excuse there, late night disappearances, vague explanations. Mom and Dad never questioned it, they trusted him. I trusted him until I shouldn't have. It was the summer before my senior year when everything unraveled. I had been dating Emily for nearly 2 years. She was my first everything. First love, first heartbreak, first mistake. And Jake took that mistake and turned it into something unforgivable. It happened on a Saturday, a stupid, ordinary Saturday. Emily had been acting distant for weeks, but every time I asked, she'd just say she was stressed about school, about life, about anything but us. I wanted to believe her, I really did. Until I walked into Jake's apartment. I wasn't supposed to be there. He had told me he was out for the night, probably crashing at a friend's place. But some instinct pushed me to go, and that's when I saw them. Emily, my girlfriend, Jake, my brother. Together. She was perched on the edge of his couch, his arm draped casually around her shoulders, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like it wasn't some sick, twisted betrayal. They saw me at the same time. Emily's face went white. Jake just sighed, like he was tired, like I was the problem. I was going to tell you, he said, standing up, running a hand through his hair like this was just some minor inconvenience in his life. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Emily whispered my name. I walked out. I didn't say a word. I didn't answer their texts, didn't pick up their calls. I didn't scream, didn't break anything, didn't demand explanations. I didn't need one. Jake had spent his whole life taking things, opportunities, attention, admiration. It was so effortless for him, and now he had taken her too. Mom noticed something was wrong, but I brushed her off, told her I was busy, told her I was fine. Please. And then, a week later, Jake showed up at my door. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity made me. He stood there looking annoyingly calm. Can we talk? I laughed. Actually laughed. Talk, I said. What the hell do you think we need to talk about, Jake? He sighed. Look, I didn't plan for this to happen. I clenched my jaw, but it did. Yeah, it did. He hesitated. I care about her, man. I stepped back, shaking my head. Wow. That's what you wanted to say. You came here to tell me you give a damn about the girl you stole from me. He flinched at the word stole. I know it's messed up, he muttered. I just save it, I snapped. You made your choice. You don't get to fix this. Jake exhaled sharply. I didn't mean to hurt you. I let out a bitter laugh. Of course you didn't. You never do. It's just who you are. He didn't argue. And that, somehow, was worse. I should have let it go. Moved on. Started fresh. But I couldn't. Jake had wrecked something I didn't even realize was fragile. It wasn't just about Emily, it was about us. About trust. About all the years I spent looking up to him, believing he was someone worth admiring. That illusion was shattered now, and I wasn't going to just sit in the ruins. So, I started plotting. Not revenge, exactly. I wasn't interested in some dramatic movie-style payback, but I wanted him to feel something, to understand deeply just how much damage he had done. The perfect opportunity came 3 weeks later, a family dinner. The house smelled like roasted chicken and garlic bread. Mom had outdone herself as always. The The dining table was set perfectly, candles, folded napkins, the kind of warm atmosphere that made it impossible to believe that anything was wrong, except everything was wrong. Jake sat across from me, acting as if nothing had happened, laughing, joking, effortlessly slipping back into the role of the perfect son. Emily wasn't there, thank God, but her absence wasn't enough to make me forget. I played along at first, answering Dad's questions about school, nodding when Mom asked about work. But the words barely registered. My mind was elsewhere. Waiting, calculating, preparing. And then, as dessert was served, Jake made a fatal mistake. "So, how's Emily?" Mom asked me innocently. Jake flinched. I let the silence stretch. Let the tension build. Then I met his eyes. "Oh, she's great," I said, my voice smooth. "You know, Jake could probably tell you more about her than I could." Dad furrowed his brow. "What do you mean?" Jake's jaw tightened. He knew. I leaned back in my chair, turning my full attention to him. "Go ahead, Jake. Tell them." His fingers twitched against his fork. "I don't know what you're talking about." I laughed. Actually laughed. "You sure?" I tilted my head. "Would you like me to spell it out?" Mom looked between us, concern growing on her face. "Boys, what's going on?" I didn't break eye contact with Jake. "Do you want to tell them, or should I?" His nostrils flared. "Drop it, drop it," I echoed, feigning confusion. "Why? Because it's inconvenient? Because it's messy? Because it makes you look bad?" Dad's voice was sharp now. "Someone explain now." I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. Then I set my fork down, rested my hands on the table, and destroyed him. "Jake," I said, with cold, deliberate precision, "has been sleeping with Emily, my girlfriend, for months." The weight of my words crashed into the room. Mom gasped. Dad's expression hardened. The air thickened. Jake froze. Jake didn't speak, didn't move. Mom clutched her chest, eyes darting between us. "Yak, tell me that's not true." His silence was the answer. She paled. Dad exhaled sharply, rubbing his temple like this was just another inconvenience to deal with. I leaned back in my chair, satisfied. "That's what I thought." Jake finally found his voice. "You didn't need to do that," I scoffed. "Didn't I? Because, honestly, I think I did. I think I owed it to myself to stop protecting you." Dad crossed his arms. "So this is what you've been hiding? What the hell were you thinking, Jake?" Jake stood abruptly. "I don't have to listen to this." "Oh, you do," I said, voice sharp. "For once in your life, you do." He met my gaze, something unreadable flashing in his eyes. I wasn't done. "Did you enjoy it?" I asked. "The secrecy? The thrill? Did it make you feel powerful? Did you ever think for even a second that it would destroy me?" His jaw clenched. I nodded, standing up. "That's what I thought." And then, without another word, I walked out. The days after the dinner were a blur. Mom called me repeatedly, begging me to talk to Jake, to fix things. Dad was quieter, his disappointment palpable but unspoken. Jake didn't reach out, not that I expected him to, but Emily did. Her text came late one night, just as I was starting to feel like I could breathe again. "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen, my chest tightening. I wanted to ignore it, to delete it, to pretend she didn't exist, but curiosity, anger, and something I couldn't quite name pushed me to respond. "Why?" Her reply was immediate. "I need to explain, please." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop, neutral ground. She looked different, smaller somehow, like the weight of everything had crushed her. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice trembling. "He never meant for this to happen." I leaned back, crossing my arms. "Honey, that's exactly what Jake said." She flinched. I know it doesn't mean anything now, but I need you to know that I didn't." She paused, swallowing hard. "I didn't plan this. I didn't want this." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "But it happened." She nodded, tears pooling in her eyes. "I was lonely. You were so busy, so distant, and he was there." I shook my head, disgusted. "So this is my fault? That's what you're saying?" "No," she said quickly. "No, it's not your fault. It's mine. It's ours. I just don't know how to fix this. I stared at her, the girl I had once loved, and realized something. I didn't want to fix it. Should I keep going? This story is far from over. Emily sat across from me, her hands clasped tightly around her coffee cup, as if it was the only thing keeping her grounded. The guilt in her eyes was real, I could see it. But I also knew something else. It wasn't enough. I took a slow breath, steadying myself. You can apologize all you want, Emily, but it doesn't change what happened. She flinched but nodded. I know. I leaned forward. Then tell me, why are you really here? Do you want me to tell you it's okay? Do you want closure? Her lips parted, then hesitated. She exhaled sharply. I don't know. I laughed, shaking my head. Then what do you want me to do with that? She looked down, twisting the paper sleeve on her cup. I guess I wanted you to know that I didn't want to hurt you. I tilted my head. And yet you did. Silence stretched between us. Then she whispered, Jake and I aren't together anymore. A strange sense of satisfaction twisted inside me. But it was fleeting. That doesn't matter, I said, because we are never going to be together again. She blinked rapidly, nodding. I know. I stood up, tossing a few bills on the table for my untouched coffee. Then I think we're done here. Emily didn't stop me. She just watched as I walked away. Emily was gone. Jake was gone. And yet their ghosts lingered in my mind, whispering doubts, replaying moments I wished I could erase. But I wasn't done yet. There was still one thing left on final confrontation. Dad called me a few days after the dinner. His voice clipped, frustrated. You need to talk to your brother. I sighed, staring at the ceiling. No, I don't. Yes, you do, he insisted. You don't just get to shut him out forever. I laughed. Watch me. Dad exhaled sharply. You two were inseparable once. Yeah, I said, my voice flat, and then he burned it to the ground. He's still your brother. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone. He stopped being my brother the second he betrayed me. Silence. Then Dad sighed. Just meet him. One last time. I didn't want to. But I knew myself. Knew that if I didn't, I'd wonder forever what he had to say. So I agreed. Walking away from Emily should have felt victorious, like slamming the final door on a chapter I never wanted to reread. But it didn't. It felt empty. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my head. Jake's betrayal, Emily's excuses, Mom's teary pleas to fix things. It all sat heavy on my chest, suffocating, like I had fought so hard to get justice, to make them feel what I felt, but at the end of it all, I was still left with nothing. Then, another message. Jake. I know you hate me, but we need to talk. I didn't respond. 3 hours later, another one. I screwed up, but I swear, it's not what you think. Just one conversation. That's all I ask. I stared at the text for a long time. Then, against every ounce of reason, I agreed. We met at the park, neutral ground. I wasn't interested in stepping into his apartment again, not after everything. Jake looked different. Tired, hollow. A shadow of the cocky older brother I had idolized once upon a time. You have 5 minutes, I said, crossing my arms. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I know you hate me. You can skip that part. He nodded. Fine. You want the truth? Here it is. And then he said something that knocked the wind out of me. She came to me first. I scoffed. So now it's her fault? No, Jake said quickly. I'm not excusing it. I should have shut it down. I should have told you. But, he exhaled sharply, she told me you weren't the same. That you'd changed. That she felt alone. My jaw clenched. That's still not an excuse, I said. I know, he admitted, but it wasn't just about her. It was about you. I frowned. What the hell does that mean? Jake hesitated. You were always better than me, smarter, more disciplined. Mom and Dad never saw it, but I did. And the worst part? You never rubbed it in my face. You never gloated. You just were better. I stared at him, shock settling in. So what? You took her because you were jealous? Jake swallowed hard. He took her because for the first time in my life, I wanted to prove that I could have something you couldn't. Silence stretched between us. Raw. Ugly. Painful. Jake rubbed his temple. It wasn't about love. It wasn't even about her. It was about winning. I took a slow breath, forcing my hands to stay at my sides. You didn't win, I said, voice cold. You lost everything. Jake looked away. I know, I didn't forgive him. I couldn't, but I understood him now. Not as the brother I once idolized, but as the man who had spent his life trapped in his own insecurity, and that made it worse. Jake looked at me, waiting, hoping. You know what, Jake? I said finally. I don't care anymore. His face twisted in something close to pain. I turned, walking away, and this teammate didn't look back. Update 1. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since everything went down. Mom still hopes we'll fix things. Dad doesn't bring it up. Jake moved out of state, whether to escape the fallout or just start over. I don't know. Emily sent me one last text a few weeks ago. I didn't reply. You'd think I'd feel better now. Lighter, Freya. But closure is weird. I got my revenge, exposed them, walked away, and yet there's still this empty space where they used to be. Not that I miss them. Exactly, I just miss not knowing. Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. Update 2. Unexpected contact. Jake texted me. After months of silence, after leaving without saying goodbye, he messaged me out of nowhere. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I miss my brother. I stared at my phone for a long time. Missed me? What did that even mean? Was it regret? Loneliness? Guilt? I didn't reply. Not yet, because honestly, I don't know if I want him back in my life. And maybe that's the real ending. No, a clean break, but an open wound that never fully heals. 6 months passed. Life moved on. I got a new job, new friends, even started seeing someone. Nothing serious, but it was something. And then, out of nowhere, Jake showed up. I was at a coffee shop, minding my own business, when I heard someone clear their throat beside me. I turned. There he was, older, different, something worn in his face that wasn't there before. Hey, he said, his voice quieter than I remembered. Mind if I sit? I almost told him no. Almost told him to get lost. But instead, I nodded. Jake sat across from me, stirring his coffee like the motion alone would fill the silence. I'm sorry, he said, finally looking up. I let his words settle. I'd heard them before. From him, from Emily, from the ruins of the life I had before. And yet, this time, something was different. It wasn't empty. Jake sighed. I miss having a brother. I exhaled slowly, setting my cup down. You don't get to say that like it means something. Like it changes anything. He nodded. I know. Another long pause. Then I asked the question I never thought I would. Did it even matter? Was she worth losing me? Jake swallowed hard. No. I leaned back. Then why? He looked away. And just like that, I knew he didn't have an answer. We didn't patch things up that day. We didn't magically become brothers again, laughing over beers, pretending things were normal. But something shifted. For the first time since everything fell apart, I didn't feel rage, just exhaustion. And maybe that was the real closure, and not forgiveness, not reconciliation, just understanding that some wounds don't heal. Some relationships don't go back to the way they were, but sometimes people change. And maybe, someday, I'll decide if I'm ready to let him be part of my life again. Not today, but maybe someday. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.